If you are in a state where you can look at different providers, do it. I know I did last year after my air conditioning costs going through the roof, and it made a big difference. I think I cut my power bill at least by 50 to 55%. So I was pretty happy about that. But if you look at other areas of the country, especially in the South, that are really reliant upon air conditioning, you've got people that have gone from $100 a month to, I know in one area of Louisiana, it's almost $800 for a house to be air conditioned during the summer. I mean, that's pretty prohibitive, if you're on a middle class income. But that being said, I think this topic is going to become more of an issue. And I'm seeing that, in all the advertising for midterms anyway through the state of Texas, the grid, the cost of electricity. And I think it's going to be really important, if political parties want to stay in office, that they're going to have to address this. You can't keep pushing the cost of increasing or improving the infrastructure to the individual consumer. It's not going to be feasible. So does that mean that we go to some sort of federal funding or state funding? Maybe, because we desperately need it if we're going to have AI in those data centers. So it's a quagmire, right? I mean, we need it, but you just can't keep pushing everything to the consumer. It's not going to work. They're going to push back, and I think we're starting to see that.
But how would they push back? I mean, do you just
vote?
Electricity? Right, with a vote.
That's it. I mean, that's the only way I could think that you're going to be able to do that, and shop, your carrier if you can. I think it's really hard. I think that's why some people in certain states are so upset right now, and they're leaning on their politicians, and they're also trying to keep any more build out of data centers out of their areas. And I guess that's to be understood if, you just can't afford basic, utilities as families.
So Andrew, does this help the investment in utility stocks?
Not necessarily, because utility stocks are laden with debt. They have lots of debt, and they have many existing assets that needs to be maintained and upgraded. Don't forget, this goes hand in hand with the power grid. It's that utility companies, they're still paying for the maintenance of the existing grid and the delivery infrastructure, the whole entire network. And it is old. And then we are picking up more and more storm as the weather is changing, and you're going to see a lot of damages, tree branches, power lines down, and the cost of labor is increasing as well. So maintaining the grid and maintaining the electricity delivery to your home is getting more and more expensive. I do like to share one example is for myself. For example, in the Northeast region, if you live in a 3-bedroom, either apartment or house, in the summertime, your electricity bill could go as high as $500. I mean, you maybe think it's unheard of, but I think you guys can agree with that, right? Is that true? Now, and then I recently, I have 2 electronic vehicles. I have 2 EV to plug into. What am I going to do? So lucky for me, I went with a major provider, and I installed roughly about 40 solar panels on top, connected to 2 batteries. So it's a system that I can charge the batteries during the day and use it at night. And that offsets my bills at least 80%. So I'm in a good position. I don't have to worry about that. But most American households, they don't have that. And for those that have multiple AC units that are running in the summertime, again, the utility bill just on electricity can go up as high as $500, and it's a lot. For other households, hopefully for citizens, senior citizens and lower income families, they have to have access to public assistance when it comes to utility. Otherwise, the cost of living is just going to become unbearable. And what's going to happen? They're going to have to cut back on the grocery shopping when they can't afford it. And so I think it makes a lot of sense for the public assistance to be helping the households here. But there are solutions, and people are already doing that by changing the regular light bulbs to LED. That was the, last decade, we started doing that. And also use, and when they upgrade, use more energy efficient appliances and things like that. So I think Hawaii is a perfect example because energy is always expensive there because it's 100% imported. So what do Hawaiian households do? They build very efficient homes. They build green energy homes. So that's something for us to follow, for us to observe, and perhaps to learn from.